Despite the sweltering weather, this meeting held a touch of frost from the start. At the entrance to France's Versailles Palace, the two leaders greeted each other with brief handshakes and small, grim smiles. 2 hours later, after their first meeting, the mood was, if anything, even cooler. France and Russia have backed different groups in the Syrian conflict. Mr. Macron said that while France did not want to destabilise the Syrian state, there were red lines that must not be crossed.
I stressed again in my meeting with President Putin our firm objection. There is a very clear red line that exists on our part, and that is the use of chemical weapons by whoever it may be. The use of chemical weapons will be the object of immediate retaliation on the part of the French.
The two leaders are also divided over the situation in Ukraine, with the Russian president condemning the sanctions imposed on his country as a result of the crisis.
The sanctions against Russia are not helping to find a solution to the crisis in Ukraine. We must fight to lift these economic restrictions. This is the only way we could be more free and be able to restore peace in the region.
Mr. Putin also appeared to deny any Russian interference in France's recent presidential race, despite allegations by Mr. Macron's team that Russian agents had tried repeatedly to hack into their accounts. Mr. Macron himself strongly defended the banning of 2 Russian media outlets from covering his campaign, describing them as agents of propaganda. This choice of venue and the inauguration of a new exhibition here on 300 years of Franco-Russian ties was meant to highlight the long relationship between the two countries. But more recent events have made this a stiff and awkward meeting, and it showed. Lucy Williamson, BBC News, Versailles.
Who was Salman Abedi connected with? The question at the heart of this massive counter-terrorism investigation. Overnight, the focus switched to the English south coast, more than 250 miles from Manchester. In the seaside town of Shoreham-by-Sea in Sussex, officers moved in on an address and arrested a man of 23. He joins 13 others already in custody.
As a normal neighbour, walked past him and, hello, how you doing? That's all I really know of him.
Salman Abedi was caught on CCTV as he prepared to kill himself and commit mass murder. It's emerged that 5 years ago, concerns began to be raised with the authorities about his extremist views. And so since the bombing, there's been criticism of the security service MI5. It has now launched 2 inquiries into the way it examined and assessed Abedi. He was not considered an immediate threat. The Home Secretary has refused to be drawn on possible missed opportunities.
Remember, this is still a live operation. We are still seeing arrests being made. It's right that the MI5 are going to be able to look back and find out what has happened in the past, but at the moment I'm going to focus on making sure that we get the operation concluded, and successfully so.
But after the atrocity at the Manchester Arena, should an intelligence agency be investigating itself?
Well, I think at this stage it's appropriate that it's internal. The information is so sensitive, and there needs to be speed, and the most important thing is they identify whether there are threats to the UK. I think in the goodness of time, the Intelligence and Security Committee of Parliament would be an appropriate body to review what they come up with.
In the north of England, at the heart of the police inquiry, there have been raids at new locations. This was Whalley Range in Manchester.
I think they're Libyans, but I don't know much about them. They collect our parcels, we collect their parcels, and they're a nice family. So it is shocking to see all of this activity, and certainly the police here.
A search as well 30 miles from here in the city of Chester. 7 days on from the bombing, the pace of this investigation is unrelenting. And what detectives are discovering is taking them well beyond Salman Abedi's home city. June Kelly, BBC News, Manchester.